Hey guys, if you're shopping for knives and gear, make sure you check out the description of the video you're watching right now for a link to my Amazon store where I've compiled some of the very best items available, including some of my own personal recommendations. Thanks! What's going on, YouTube? Metal Complex here, and welcome to episode 49? 49 of The Knife Guy? I'm pretty sure the title will be correct. Oh boy, if you've never, you've never watched this series, or you're new to my channel, or you just came out of some weird corner of the internet, I am a knife guy, knife user, knife collector, knife enjoyer of many sorts. We are all knife guys and gals in this crazy knife world, and we all have our own unique experiences, but sometimes our paths intersect and we experience a lot of the same things, and that's what this Sunday series is all about. I like to pick up a bunch of... I lay out a bunch of knives that are either mine or some of my generous viewers who sent them for review, and I just sort of flip them and talk about these different topics. And so we are, first off, this is kind of a special episode because the next episode is episode 50. And I'll be honest with you guys, I have no idea what I'm going to do for episode 50, but it should be something special, right? I mean, this series started off as just like a, whatever, I didn't really have an upload for today, so I guess I'll do this. And it was based on Jim Skelton's Knife Rambles. And you guys have all seemed to really enjoy this series over the last, these last 48 episodes. So, I'm going to say right here at the beginning of this one, I've chosen all the topics, right? And some of them have overlapped a little bit. And in some situations, it's tricky to come up with the topic. And sometimes the topic comes to me. I have an experience and I'm like, oh, this is something I experience all the time. This has to be a topic. Today's topic, by the way, which there is a topic, was something that hit me like that. Ton of bricks happened all at once. But I want you guys to tell me in the comments section, and go back through, go look at my my Knife Guy episodes to make sure that I haven't already created one, because the titles and the topics are all right there in the title of each episode. Let me know what you guys want me to do for the 50th episode. Tell me, if I see the same thing over and over again, or somebody's comment gets a whole bunch of likes, then I'll do that one. I can't think of a better way to celebrate the 50th episode than to do a topic that you guys collectively select, because that's proof right there that a lot of people experience the same thing, if a lot of people want that topic. So yeah, come up with a topic and I will explore it. I will dive into it and ramble on for 20 to 25 minutes on a Sunday for you guys. But thank you for being a part of the Knife Guy for this long. I know there's a few of you who have watched every single episode, so thank you so much. So today's topic, as you can see in the title, is dark horse knives. What do I mean by that? So the definition of a dark horse is, without looking at the dictionary, I did actually Google it to make sure, but now I can't remember the exact definition, but it's basically a competitor that was otherwise unknown that sort of came out of nowhere and suddenly became, the potential victor or the victor. And that, I'm sure the term comes from medieval times where you've got some prestigious knight, that's going to joust, and he's, known for this and this and this. And then you've got Sir Bill's a lot, or Sir Bob's a lot, or whoever, and he's known for this and this and this, and has, all these medals and things. And then you got this, this guy coming out of left field with the lightning and the shadows. And who is this? Who is this mysterious knight? And he comes in and he wins the whole thing. Dark horse competitor, right? The way that I'm relating this is, everybody knows this has been, the precursor to a lot of topics on this channel is basically when you have a new itch, right? If you are, if you have dove into this this knife enthusiast world, you know that, buying a knife, there's this sort of, there are tiers that you go through. You anticipate, you wait, it arrives. You're overjoyed that it's there, and you look it over and you either love it or you don't like it. There's all these different things that can happen, right? Inevitably, what happens usually is you're like, okay, I really want another knife, right? And so you start looking again. The cycle continues. Every now and then, right before, like, you've basically locked in. You've watched a bunch of videos. You've checked on the different retailers. Maybe you even check for alternate variants. You try to find out which one's going to be best for you, or you've decided you're buying this to customize it. So you're looking at, basically what I'm saying is you've invested a lot of time into this specific knife and you are like, this is it. It's in the shopping cart. Every now and then you are approached by a dark horse, right? Suppose I should be flipping these. A knife that comes out of nowhere to claim the title of victory. And it's like, it's so weird. I'm getting chills thinking about this. I know that sounds weird, but it's such a potent want you see it and you go, oh, I didn't even know that existed. I'm getting it. It's like whatever amount of money you've saved for this knife, you've saved 50, 200, 1,000, whatever it is, all that money that you've saved, all that research, everything that you have put, all the, sometimes it's physical, mental, and emotional investment into this knife. It goes completely out the window. You've basically stuffed it in a cannon and fired it at the sky. You're like, don't care. See you later. I'm going with this guy. That happens sometimes. And maybe it hasn't happened to all of us, but I would be willing to bet that's happened to some of you. This happened to me recently, and oh boy, I can't wait to show you guys what it is. But of course, you have to wait. I'm not going to tell you. It's going to be a little bit. But I had, decided because of, some information that I had gathered that I was going after this certain thing, and I was so excited. And now when you finally see it, you're going to go, it's kind of different, but you're going to understand what I mean. But the point is that I was not expecting it because I didn't know that it existed. I didn't know that it was there. And that is the case with dark horse knives. And it brings an interesting detail to light for me. It makes me think, how much is out there that I'm unaware of that I would buy in a heartbeat, right? If I had the money on hand. I have never spent money that I didn't have. If you're going to get into this world or any type of collector enthusiast world for anything, that has to be a personal rule. Don't spend money that you don't have. Don't. It's a slippery slope. Spend money that you have, sell your knives first, have the money ready to go, and then make sure that you want it and then buy it. But man, I think how much is out there, if I have this money. Let's use just for an example. Let's use an example amount of money. Everybody has a different amount of money that they're comfortable spending on their knives, right? Once they get in that zone, they kind of stay in that zone. I slowly graduated up to the between the $300 and $800 range is right around. Those are the knives that I'm the most interested in. It's kind of a dangerous area, but it's also kind of a safe area because a lot of the knives in that price range will retain most of their value. So I can feed my this addictive nature that I've developed specifically with folding knives, and at the same time not really take the biggest roundhouse kick to the groin. And in some cases I completely break even, right? So that's kind of where I like to hang out. It's not saying that if you are new to this and you jump in, that's exactly where you should be spending the money because you're gonna break even. It's specific models, right? And it doesn't always work out, but I've found that this is the best, the sweet spot for me. But anyways, I'm thinking how much is out there where if I saw it or in some situations handled it, right? Not just seeing it sometimes isn't enough for people. Sometimes it's handling it for the first time and you're like, I had no idea that it was this big or this small, or that there was this much detail in it, or that the balance would be so good, or the deployment would feel so natural, or that it was so smooth. Sometimes you can be won over like this. Surprise, guys, I'm going to give you an analogy that has to do with selling cars. That's so weird. He never does that. Yeah, I mean, listen, as a car salesman, I can tell you, you guys know what car salesmen are like. A lot of you, probably think, yeah, just by the way he talks, I can tell he used to sell cars. This is how I am. My natural personality is like this. I'm enthusiastic about the things that I care about, and I will put my mental and physical and emotional effort into explaining the things that I think are good for any individual. And a lot of times that ends up with people, taking my advice. And so I really enjoyed selling cars. I really miss doing that. That was a lot of fun. But let me tell you something that, they'll tell you, There's a reason if you drive onto a car lot, imagine most people watching, you've been to a car lot. So you know how a car salesman approaches you. You're driving around the lot and this slick looking fellow comes out and he's got his pants hiked up and he's got his shirt tucked in and he's coming out and hey, how you doing? What are y'all looking for today? Or what can I help you with? He's just, he's peppy, he's ready to help, and most people have, and we knew as car salesmen, right? Most people go, oh, geez. All right. If you're significant others in the wife, I would, imagine your wife's in the car with you and you're like, oh, crap, honey, here comes a salesman. Just keep moving. Just keep driving. Don't look at him. He's getting real close. Okay, give him a wave. But keep moving though. Don't roll the window down. That's the car salesman always approaches like that, and the people in the vehicle, because they don't want to talk. You just want to go look. You want to go look for yourself. You don't want a car salesman jumping in, because the stereotype of a car salesman, and it's very true, is that they want to sell you something, so it's very hard to trust if what they're saying is catered specifically towards you and your needs, or if they're just trying to get you in, get your signature, and get you out of there. The truth is that it's both true. As a car salesman, I can tell you, of course I wanted to make money. Of course I wanted to sell vehicles. So everybody that came to the lot, whether it was just to look, right? Because everybody says that, even if they are there to buy. You don't tell a car salesman that you're there to buy, but we know that there's at least a 5% chance that they're actually there to buy that day. So we treat them all like they're buyers, right? So that's the unstoppable force versus the immovable object argument, right? It's natural balance of, chaos of the universe. It's just those two things will infinitely always clash. Not every car salesman is a snake, and not every customer is there to beat around the bush. But anyways, a good car salesman really does care about what the person's looking for. If they're smart, they'll know that the best way to sell them a vehicle is to actually help them find what they're looking for, because they'll be much more likely to purchase the vehicle. I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed finding out what it is, the person's budget, what it was that why they needed the vehicle, and what, if they cared about fuel efficiency, or if they were there to buy a luxury vehicle, or maybe they were there to buy a work vehicle, something with, like a truck with a certain amount of tow capacity, either gas or diesel, whatever. But anyways, the one thing that was consistent with every single person is that if they were there to buy, well, actually, whether they were or weren't there to buy, there is a specific moment of locking in to the thing that you are considering. And it's usually the moment that you first experience it. It is the reason that, car salesmen want you to get in and test drive it, is because as soon as you experience it, you take what they call mental ownership of the thing. It is very hard if the thing that you think you want is right there in front of you, right? And you get in and you drive it, it's really hard to say no, right? And I can't tell you how many times that people told me, I'm not here to buy today, I'm just shot. They get in and they drive it. A lot of times it was sports cars, the SRTs, the Hellcats, the GT350 Mustang, whatever, sport vehicles, right? People there to buy toys or considering buying toys. I mean, obviously there's a lot of capable, high performance vehicles, but as soon as they experienced it, they locked in. They weren't even 100% sure that that's what they wanted. Man, there was a guy that was like, we had a purple Hellcat Challenger in the showroom with bronze rims. And that guy was like, oh man, I never even thought that I would like that. But God, seeing it. And then he gets in and he's like, oh boy, I got to drive it, right? Well, that person ended up taking it home. They wanted something subdued, gray, black, right? Purple with gold. Oh man, sometimes you just see it and you're like, that's it. That's what I want. And this is, I think, human nature to some extent. If you're not that way with cars or knives or watches or shoes, clothes, whatever, you probably like that with something. People are more or less likely to impulse buy, and that's what this is all about. It's an impulse thing, but people are more or less resilient to it, but every single person on this planet is human, And we all impulse do things sometimes. If it's not a purchase, you impulse it. There's a certain thing that suddenly becomes a part of your reality, and it causes you to react impulsively. Everybody is susceptible to this. And this is what I'm talking about. This knife that suddenly became, right? That was suddenly there. I saw a picture and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to buy this. I have the money and I have to have this right now. And it wasn't even what I was looking for. I was scrolling through Instagram. It's all going to make sense because some of you guys are going to remember the post. Yeah, as soon as I did, I contacted the person and I said, I want this right now. It was maybe 15 minutes from seeing the post, and it happened. So it's like, it's so crazy to think that how many things I see a lot of stuff that I just want, you know, and I'm like, if that ever came around, you know, I might consider it if it was for a good price. But a true impulse buy on a dark horse knife happens instantly. And the truth, here's the hard truth. This was hard to admit to myself, but I was hydrating, and I was thinking, if that knife were another $150, would I have bought it? And the immediate answer, this tiny yet powerful voice in the back of my mind goes, yes. Yes, you would have. You would have paid an extra $150 to $200 to have that thing. You know, and maybe not all of you are exactly like me, but that's the truth, is that I would. And I think the sad part of this is a lot of knife makers, a lot of manufacturing companies have figured this out, that people do impulse buy a lot of this stuff, and they figured out that there is a pretty substantial amount of markup in some cases that they can apply to some of these, and we will eat it up. This happens, and it's interesting, and it's scary, because this knife world, especially the enthusiast market, is ever expanding right now, and it's crazier and crazier stuff is coming out, and I know there's going to be more once. Right? And it's like that episode I did where I talked about, you know, does it end? No, I don't think so. You got to find a way to balance it. You know, you got to find a system that works for you, you know, monetarily, and that doesn't affect your life and stuff like that. But it all boils down to this: is if I did not have the money for that, I wouldn't have impulse bought it. And that's what it comes down to, is that that's why it happened so quickly, is because I had the money and it was more perfect than the thing that I thought was perfect for me. And, you know, of course, that's the answer to the equation, right? It's just, I didn't have all of the numbers. I had what I thought was the answer to a smaller equation. But once I added more to it, I was like, well, here's the new answer. How convenient. It's right here in front of me. So yeah, I bought it. But because of the circumstance surrounding it, it's going to take a little bit to get here. I'm hoping within 7 days of you guys seeing this episode, I will have it in hand, and the other thing. But in any case, very exciting, very scary, very random dark horse knives. I hope that this is a term that you guys, I like that you guys use my Excalibur term, but I hope that there's enough meaning behind this dark horse knife term that you guys, you know, decide to use it, because I like it. I mean, it helps me understand what people are talking about. Some people, you know, now people say in my comment section, my Excalibur is this, my Excalibur is that. And it's nice because it's like, I know exactly what you mean by that, because you know, that's how I define this thing. So I'm hoping this makes enough sense that you guys use it, because it'll be fun to converse with you. But in any case, guys, I think I've, you know, thoroughly... Should I make a beating the dead horse joke? Oh, man. Like I said, if you guys have an idea for a topic on episode 50 of The Knife Guy, leave your comment down below. Let me know what you guys want me to talk about. If there are enough interesting topics, I might do a whole bunch of them. But for episode 50, it will absolutely be a collective viewer request video. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like. So check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on this metal complex logo right here and subscribe, because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.